Have you ever met someone who just refuses to be controlled? Someone whose energy fills every space, whose confidence feels unshakable, and whose presence demands attention, without even trying. Let me ask you this, what if that person is a Leo? Here's something most people don't know. Leos aren't difficult to control because they're stubborn. It's deeper than that. It's something wired into their soul, something written in their stars. In today's video, we're going to explore a side of Leo that might surprise you. Not just their bold attitude or love for attention, but the real reason why controlling a Leo is almost impossible. I'll take you beyond the surface, into the emotional world hidden behind their proud smile. Together, we'll uncover psychological truths and ancient astrological secrets that explain their unstoppable nature. And trust me, once you understand the heart of a Leo, you might just understand yourself a little better too. So, if you're ready to dive deep, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. Share it with someone who needs to understand the Leo in their life, or maybe the Leo within themselves. Are you curious why no one can hold a Leo back? Stay with me. The answers might change the way you see not just them, but life itself. Have you ever looked at someone and felt like they were born to lead? Not because they force others to follow, but because something about them simply makes people trust them, admire them, even depend on them. That's the silent power of a Leo. You see, leadership for a Leo isn't just a role, it's a part of their soul. From the moment they step into a room, their energy fills the space. People feel it. It's not arrogance. It's presence. It's the kind of inner strength that tells the world, I know who I am. And when you know who you are, you don't need permission to lead. You simply lead. But where does that strength come from? It comes from something deeper than confidence. It's a belief, almost a certainty, that they were born for something more. Not for control, but for purpose. Maybe you've seen this in someone you know? That friend who always takes charge when life gets messy. The colleague who doesn't hesitate to make tough decisions when everyone else freezes. Or maybe that person is you. If so, welcome to your Leo nature. Leos don't lead because they crave power. They lead because it feels natural. And people follow, not out of fear, but because a Leo's energy is uplifting. Their optimism is contagious. Being around them makes you feel like you can achieve more, like you can believe in yourself again. That's why Leos are so hard to control. When you're the one lighting the path, why would you let someone else hold the torch? But leadership is only one layer of their independence. Beneath that fiery confidence is something even more powerful. A core of unshakable self-belief. This is not about boasting or showing off. It's about knowing, deep down, that they are enough. Leos trust themselves, their decisions, their instincts, their worth. And when someone holds that kind of self-trust, controlling them becomes almost impossible. Think about it. How can you sway someone who doesn't need your approval to feel valuable? That's the hidden strength many people miss when they look at Leos. Their self-confidence isn't fragile. It's armor. It protects them from doubt, from fear, from manipulation. Of course, life still tests them. They get criticized. They face setbacks. But instead of breaking down, they rise. They treat failures as lessons. They see obstacles as fuel. If you've ever watched a Leo after a failure, you'll notice something remarkable. They don't collapse. They glow even brighter. It's like every setback becomes another reason to prove to the world, and to themselves, that they will not be stopped. And honestly, isn't that the kind of strength we all wish we had sometimes? But confidence alone doesn't make them unstoppable. There's something else. Something subtler. Their natural charisma. Have you ever wondered why certain people just attract attention without even trying? Why people smile when they enter a room? That's charisma. And for Leos, it's not an act. It's who they are. Their warmth, their enthusiasm, their genuine interest in others, it draws people in. Not for manipulation, but for connection. People feel good around a Leo. Inspired. Energized. That's a kind of power that can't be bought or faked. And with that power comes freedom. You see, when you can naturally influence others just by being yourself. You don't need to control anyone. You don't need to beg for attention or force people to listen. People want to be near you, to hear you, to follow you. That's why controlling a Leo feels impossible. They are the source of their own power. Their charisma is like sunlight. You can't capture it. You can't contain it. You can only choose to stand in it, or walk away. But there's something else hidden behind that glow. Something many overlook. Pride. Not the negative kind. But a deep, healthy pride in who they are. A sense of dignity that they protect fiercely. A Leo's pride is like a boundary. It tells them when someone is trying to control, belittle, or disrespect them. And when that happens, they resist. Not because they're difficult, but because accepting control feels like betrayal. Betrayal of their own worth. Their pride is their shield. It protects their freedom, their identity, their authenticity. Imagine for a moment someone trying to clip the wings of a bird that was born to soar. That's how a Leo feels when someone tries to impose limits on them. They're soul rebels. They push back. Or they simply walk away. You see, to a Leo, independence is not optional. It's sacred. And yet, this isn't about being alone. It's about choosing their own path. Making their own decisions. Living life on their own terms. Their pride doesn't isolate them. It empowers them. It reminds them of their worth when the world tries to make them forget. And that is why Leos cannot be controlled. So next time you meet a Leo, or feel the Leo energy within yourself, remember this: leadership, confidence, charisma, and pride are not just personality traits. They are tools. Tools that protect the soul of someone who was born to live freely, love deeply, and shine without apology. Let that remind you that maybe you, too, are allowed to lead your own life. To trust your worth. To embrace your light. And never let anyone dim it. There's something about a Leo that people often misunderstand. Many think they're simply confident and outgoing. But what lies deeper is a will, stronger than most can imagine. When a Leo sets their mind to something, it's not just a goal. It's a mission. A personal journey. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can pull them away from that path. Picture someone walking through a storm. Winds pushing them back. People shouting for them to turn around. Yet, they keep moving forward. That's a Leo following their own path. Their determination isn't just stubbornness. It's a promise they make to themselves. A silent promise that no matter what, they'll stay true to their purpose. And this makes them impossible to control. Because they're not listening to outside voices. They're listening to their inner voice. The one that tells them who they are. And where they need to go. In daily life, you might see this when a Leo quits a stable job to follow a dream. Or when they stand up against popular opinion, just because their heart tells them it's right. You may even notice it in small things, like choosing a unique outfit, or defending a friend no one else will. It's their nature to lead their own way. If you're a Leo, maybe you've felt that pull before. That quiet voice telling you, don't follow. Create your own road. But this powerful drive doesn't come without challenges. Because along that road, Leos crave something many don't see. They crave attention. Not as a luxury, but as a need. Their heart needs to be seen. To be acknowledged. When they stand in the spotlight, it's not to boast. It's to feel alive. Imagine being a singer on a silent stage. That silence hurts more than any criticism. For a Leo, being ignored feels like being erased. That's why they fight to shine. It's not vanity. It's survival. Now, this need for attention can sometimes make others uncomfortable. People may say, "Why do you always need to be noticed?" But that's where understanding matters. Attention fuels their confidence. It reassures them that their light still reaches others. And once you realize this, you can respond differently. Instead of judging, try offering genuine recognition. A sincere compliment. A moment where they feel seen. And you'll notice their energy shifts. They relax. They trust. And they open their heart even more. And that's the lesson here. Sometimes, when someone seeks attention, what they really seek is connection. Recognition. A reminder that they matter. Maybe you felt that too, in your own way. But being the center of attention isn't the only thing driving a Leo forward. There's something even stronger at play. Determination. A kind of inner fire that keeps burning, even when everything tries to put it out. When a Leo faces obstacles, they don't see them as stop signs. They see them as challenges. Tests. Opportunities to prove their strength. And they never back down. They push harder. They climb higher. And every setback fuels their comeback. Think about a time in your life when something tried to break you. Did you give up? Or did you find the strength to rise? That's what being a Leo teaches us. Determination isn't about always succeeding. It's about refusing to give up. It's about facing failure and saying, "I'll try again." And again. And again. This mindset isn't limited to Leos. It's something we all can learn. Next time life pushes you down, remember the Leo energy. Stand up. Keep going. Let your determination be louder than your fear. But here's where things get even more interesting. Because while most people rely on routines, rules, and familiar ways, Leos don't. They are creators. Innovators. Visionaries. Their mind doesn't accept limitations. It looks for new doors when old ones close. Their creativity isn't just artistic. It's practical. It's survival. When a problem appears, Leos instinctively think, "What's another way?" They won't follow just because others do. They trust their own vision. Have you ever felt stuck in life, following a path that didn't feel right? That's where Leo energy can guide you. Dare to think differently. Dare to imagine a new solution. Life isn't about following maps. It's about drawing your own. And that's what Leos do naturally. They don't copy. They create. In relationships, in careers, in personal growth. Leos bring fresh perspectives. They refuse to let old patterns define their future. That's why controlling them is so hard. You can't lead someone who's already busy building their own road. And yet, their creativity isn't loud. It's not for show. It's for freedom. Every new idea, every unique solution, gives them control over their life. Not over others, but over their own destiny. So next time you're lost, try thinking like a Leo. Ask yourself, what would I create if no one told me what to do? And that, my friend, is the secret behind their unstoppable energy. But stay with me. Because what's coming next might surprise you. In the final part of this video, we'll uncover the last 3 truths about Leos. The ones few people know. The ones that reveal their deepest vulnerabilities and their greatest source of power. You don't want to miss it. There's something powerful about the way Leos handle their emotions. They don't try to hide how they feel. They don't pretend. When something matters to them, you'll know. They care deeply. They love fully. And when they're hurt, their reaction is just as strong. This passionate temperament, it's not just part of who they are. It's their engine. It fuels their courage. It gives them strength when life tries to push them down. Think about someone you know who fights for what they believe in, who refuses to stay silent when something feels wrong. That fire, that spark, is a sign of a Leo's heart. It's easy to mistake this passion for aggression or stubbornness. But the truth is, it's vulnerability in action. A Leo shows their heart because they can't live any other way. And maybe that's something we all need to remember. Hiding your feelings doesn't protect you. It disconnects you. But expressing what you feel, even when it's uncomfortable, is how you stay real. How you stay human. Leos remind us that passion is not a weakness. It's a language. It's how they communicate with the world. Now, what's interesting is that this fiery energy is balanced by something softer. Something equally powerful. Authenticity. You see, Leos don't just express emotions, they express who they are. Fully. Clearly. Without masks. They don't change to fit in. They don't hide their true selves just to be accepted. For a Leo, being real is non-negotiable. It's not a choice. It's survival. Maybe you've felt that too, that quiet discomfort when you're pretending to be someone you're not. That heavy feeling of wearing a mask just to make others happy. Leos refuse to carry that weight. They know that losing themselves to please others is the biggest betrayal. Not to others, but to themselves. And this is where their strength lies. They embrace their identity, even when it makes them stand out. Even when it makes them different. Their authenticity protects them from control. Because someone who knows who they are can't be shaped by others. They live by their truth. And their truth sets them free. So ask yourself, how often do you trade authenticity for approval? How often do you silence your own voice? Just to fit in? Maybe today is the day to choose differently. To choose yourself. To be more like a Leo, and trust that being real is always the right choice. But there's another trait that protects Leos even more. Something many people find intimidating at first. Their honesty. Leos are known for saying things most people hesitate to say. They tell the truth. Clearly. Directly. Sometimes even brutally. And while this might seem harsh, it's actually a form of respect. Because when a Leo speaks honestly, they're giving you clarity. They're showing you that they value truth over comfort. That they respect you enough to be real. And in a world full of hidden meanings and unspoken words, that's rare. That's valuable. Of course, their honesty isn't always easy to hear. But over time, people learn to trust it. Because with a Leo, what you see is what you get. There are no games. No manipulation. Just honesty. And this honesty, it's what gives Leos power over those who try to deceive or control them. You can't manipulate someone who sees straight through lies. You can't control someone who values truth more than approval. And maybe, that's a lesson we all need to learn. Speaking your truth might not always be comfortable. But it builds respect. It builds trust. Not just with others, but within yourself. So next time you're afraid to speak up, remember the Leo energy. Say what you mean. Be clear. Be honest. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because being real is the foundation of being free. Now, let's talk about something even deeper. Something that often goes unnoticed, yet is the heartbeat of Leo's power. Their fearless expression of thoughts and emotions. Leos don't hide their inner world. They don't suppress their voice. When they feel something, when they believe in something, they express it. Boldly. Loudly. Without apology. This openness isn't just about being heard. It's about connection. Leos understand that expressing themselves is how they build bridges to others. How they share their world, their soul, their dreams. In relationships, in friendships, in life, they teach us that silence is not safety. That staying quiet doesn't protect your heart. It isolates it. Maybe you've felt afraid to speak your mind. Maybe you've worried that sharing your emotions would make you weak. But Leos know the truth. Vulnerability is strength. Expression is freedom. And that's why they're impossible to control. Because no one can silence a Leo. Their voice is not just their power. It's their identity. It's how they shape their world. So if you take anything from this moment, let it be this. Speak up. Share your feelings. Don't let fear steal your voice. You have something to say. And the world needs to hear it. As we've journeyed through these truths, we've seen the layers of Leo's power. Their passion. Their authenticity. Their honesty. Their fearless expression. But what if I told you that the deepest, most controversial truths about Leos are still waiting? In the final part of this video, we'll explore 3 hidden qualities that reveal not just why no one can control a Leo, but how their greatest strengths often come from their deepest vulnerabilities. And trust me, these last insights might just change the way you see yourself. Are you ready? Stay with me. The final truths are coming. There's something beautiful about generosity. And Leos understand that deeply. But here's what most people don't realize. A Leo's generosity doesn't come from weakness. It comes from strength. They give because they want to. Because it feels right. Because their heart tells them to help, to support, to lift others up. But they don't give endlessly. And they don't give without limits. Respect matters to them. Loyalty matters. If you appreciate what they give, if you respect their time, their love, their effort, they'll give you everything. But the moment they feel used, the moment they sense disrespect, they pull away. And they do it without warning. That's not coldness. It's self-respect. Leos know their worth. They know that giving without receiving loyalty in return drains the soul. Maybe you've felt that too, giving and giving, but feeling invisible. Feeling taken for granted. Leos won't allow that. They protect their energy. They protect their heart. And that's a lesson worth learning. Generosity isn't about saying yes to everyone. It's about giving from a full heart and knowing when to say no. So, the next time you feel guilty for setting boundaries, remember, protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's necessary. This balance between giving and protecting is what makes Leos so powerful in their relationships. But there's more. Because beyond their generosity lies a gift few notice. Leos know how to motivate others. They know how to lift people from darkness. When someone feels lost, when someone forgets their worth, a Leo often becomes their light. They don't do it by controlling. They don't do it by forcing change. They lead by example. By being strong. By showing what's possible. And in doing so, they awaken strength in others. Think about that friend who pushes you to dream bigger, to believe in yourself. To rise after you fall. Chances are, there's a little Leo energy in them. Leos are natural guides. Not because they need followers, but because inspiring others fuels their soul. Helping someone grow makes them feel alive. It's a quiet power. A gentle leadership. And it creates loyalty. True loyalty. Because when someone helps you believe in yourself, you never forget it. But remember this, while Leos guide others, they protect their freedom fiercely. No one controls the path they walk. No one decides their next step. They give support freely, but their own independence is non-negotiable. And what protects that independence? Their ego. Now, many people hear the word ego and think of arrogance. But for a Leo, ego is something different. It's not about feeling superior. It's about protecting their self-worth. Their ego tells them, you matter. You deserve respect. And that's powerful. Imagine your ego as a shield. When someone tries to belittle you, when life makes you doubt yourself, that shield stands between you and the world. Leos have learned how to build that shield strong. They protect their pride, not to push others down, but to prevent being pushed down themselves. And when someone attacks their ego, tries to control them, or challenges their worth, Leos react strongly. They don't allow anyone to shrink their light. They don't let anyone dim their energy. They stand tall. And that's why controlling a Leo is almost impossible. Their ego protects their freedom. Now, here's the lesson in that. Having a healthy ego isn't wrong. It's essential. Ego isn't just about feeling big. It's about knowing your worth. About saying, I won't accept less than I deserve. And that is something everyone should remember. But protecting their worth is only part of the story. Because Leos don't just defend themselves, they lead themselves. They love taking initiative, making decisions, creating their own path. It's not just a preference. It's who they are. They don't like waiting for approval. They don't want someone else telling them when to move, or how to think. Leos listen to their inner compass. And that's why they step forward when others hesitate. That's why they take the first step into unknown territory. They trust themselves. And when they make mistakes, they own them. Because for Leos, even failure is a lesson. Even setbacks are a part of the journey. They'd rather choose their own path and fall, than follow someone else's path and succeed. Maybe that's something you need to hear today. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Start. Lead yourself. Like a Leo. Because life isn't about being told what to do. It's about deciding who you want to become. And then, taking the first step. So far, we've uncovered why Leos give so much, yet demand loyalty. Why they lead by inspiring, yet refuse to be led. Why their ego isn't a flaw, but a shield. Why their desire to decide for themselves keeps them free. But the final truths, the last 3 insights we're about to explore, those will reveal something deeper. Something that explains not just why no one can control a Leo, but why trying to control them hurts them more than anyone realizes. In the next part of this video, we'll discover the most hidden, the most emotional, and perhaps the most controversial truths about the Leo soul. Stay with me. The final answers are waiting. There's something most people miss when they look at a Leo. They see the confidence, the leadership, the energy. But what they don't see is the quiet strength that lives inside their values. Leos have a strong sense of honor, a personal code, a belief in right and wrong that they rarely compromise. It's not about being perfect. It's about integrity. About holding themselves to a standard they refuse to break. This inner code acts like armor. It protects them from manipulation. Because when you know what you stand for, you don't bend to pressure. You don't let someone else's voice drown out your own. Leos carry this sense of honor like a hidden compass. Even when the world tries to lead them off course, they hold steady. They say no when it matters. They stand up when it's hard. And this loyalty to their own truth makes them impossible to control. You might see this in everyday life. A Leo refusing to stay silent when they see something unfair. A Leo standing by their friend when everyone else walks away. Or simply a Leo choosing to do what feels right, even when no one's watching. It's not about pride. It's not about appearance. It's about self-respect. And that's something all of us can learn. When life pressures you to compromise your values, remember the Leo heart. Choose what's right. Even when it's not easy. Because your integrity is your freedom. But now, we reach the final truth. And perhaps, it's the most important of all. Leos are brave. Not just in the way they lead. Not just in the way they speak. But in the way they face life itself. They stand in front of challenges with their head held high. Not because they feel no fear. But because they refuse to let fear control them. For a Leo, life is a stage. But it's also a battlefield. And every day is a chance to prove, not to others, but to themselves, that they are stronger than what tries to break them. Think about someone who refuses to give up. Who keeps moving forward when everyone else stops. That's the quiet courage of a Leo. It's not loud. It's not showy. It's steady. It's relentless. And this bravery, this inner fire, is why no one can truly control them. Because fear is how most people are controlled. Fear of rejection. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. But Leos fight that fear every day. They choose action. They choose movement. They choose to trust their own strength, even when they feel uncertain. And maybe that's the real lesson behind the Leo soul. Being brave isn't about never feeling afraid. It's about doing it anyway. Speaking your truth anyway. Taking that step anyway. Refusing to shrink, even when the world tells you to. So wherever you are in your life right now, whatever you're facing, ask yourself, what would change if I faced this like a Leo? If I trusted my worth? If I refused to give up? If I honored my own truth above everything else? Because maybe that's where your freedom begins. So, now you know. Leos are impossible to control, not because they resist authority, but because they lead themselves. They trust themselves. They love fearlessly, give generously, speak honestly, and live authentically. Their pride isn't arrogance. It's protection. Their need for attention isn't vanity. It's a cry to be seen. To be valued. Their courage isn't about ego. It's about survival. And all of that makes them unstoppable. If today's video felt like a mirror, if you saw yourself in these words, maybe it's because there's a little Leo energy in you. 2. Whether you're a Leo or not, you carry the same potential. The same light. Let this be your reminder. You're allowed to lead. You're allowed to be seen. You're allowed to trust your own voice. And if this message touched something inside you, don't let it fade. Subscribe to the channel so we can keep exploring this journey together. Like the video if it felt like truth. And share it with someone who needs to hear these words today. Because sometimes, the right message, at the right moment, can change everything. And this is only the beginning. In the next videos, we'll go even deeper into the soul of each zodiac sign, uncovering not just their strengths, but their hidden fears, their quiet dreams, and their true potential. So stay with me. There's so much more waiting for you. Until then, keep shining. And remember, no one can control a heart that leads itself.